You know what I'm here for.
Back on top, punching the clock, clutching sanity.
I don't even know if I have the energy for the intro today. I'm tired of the Boston Celtics, man. I don't know how I'm so disappointed in a team that I just didn't have high expectations for anyways, but they just continue to find ways to let me down. Time after time, game after game. And another 4-quarter lead blown last night. Didn't hit a field goal in the last 7 minutes of the game against a Portland Trailblazer team that is missing their star player. I mean, they've been playing well without Damian Lillard, but a team that you beat earlier this season by 30 points. Scored 145 points in that game. And now, another blown lead at home. It's just hell, man. So, today we're going to learn how to fix the Boston Celtics. As you can see on screen, another BR article. This one's by Zach Buckley from a couple days ago, January 20th. The Celtics blueprint for the 2022 trade deadline. Very interesting because, look, I don't know how to fix this team anymore. I don't know. It seems like it's something new every day that's wrong with this team. They find new ways to blow games to inferior competition at times. So we're going to find out what Zach Buckley thinks the Celtics should do this trade deadline. And the first thing, which I already peaked, they should search for the best trade a non-J package they can get. And see, I don't know what else the Celtics have on this roster that even would entice a team to, you know, trade away an all-star caliber guy. Like it says here, could they potentially get a John Collins, a Christian Wood, a De'Aaron Fox? I don't know, man. How are you going to convince a team to take a Marcus Smart, you know, Dennis Schroeder, their contracts, and maybe some picks? I don't know how realistic that is. It would be great to get a De'Aaron Fox without having to give up one of the J's, but I don't think that's realistic. If I'm Sacramento, I want Jaylen Brown at least. I want Jaylen Brown back at least. So I don't know how possible this is to improve the roster right now without giving up one of the J's, which I'm not seeing pick between the two. I think you should explore ways to get more talent around them. But it's going to be tough, man. Brad Stevens has his work cut out for him for sure. Next, they said find a floor general. This is number one on the list to me. This is number one on the list. It's pretty evident like this team just struggles, man. I mean, last night Jayson Tatum was playing basically point guard. And he was doing a fine job of distributing the ball. But we know Jayson Tatum as a scorer. And, you know, he's best when he's trying to put the ball in the bucket. And it would be so helpful for Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum to play with a guy that would be at least a competent playmaker. Nothing against Marcus Smart. He's not that. He's probably the most average playmaker that you could ask for. He's not bad, but he's not, you know, elevating guys. He's not making it that much easier for guys. So I want to see what this says, but maybe Marcus Smart is the centerpiece in any Celtics trade package, which kind of sucks because of how important he is to this team on the defensive side of the floor. I wish they mentioned some players. The only guy that they mentioned was like a Ricky Rubio type, like that kind of archetype, which I agree. You just need somebody that's probably just pass first, above average playmaker. Just make it easier for your all-star wings to get the ball like in their spots, you know, so they don't have to extort so much energy to just try and create shots. That's why Jayson Tatum has games sometimes where he shoots very poor from the field, and he takes a lot of tough shots because of it. So but the only problem is there's not that many guys out there that you could just like pick up the phone and be like, hey, we want this guy. This guy's averaging, you know, 7-8 assists. He's a very high level playmaker. Those guys don't just grow on trees. That's why it's been so tough for Boston to have a point guard like that. I mean, they probably haven't had a elite playmaker since Rondo. Like, it's been like a decade. So it's tough to find, man. But I think this is number one on the list. Like, this team has to find a good playmaker to pair with JB and JT. And yeah, the other issue with this team is the floor spacing, man. The defense has picked up drastically from the beginning of the season. I don't know what the numbers say, but my eye test says that the defense is a lot better. But the spacing, bro, this is a team that's like, they're one of the worst shooting teams in the league. I think they're like bottom third in the NBA in like 3-point shooting percentage. And it's rough when Grant Williams is your best 3-point shooter. Like, no disrespect, Grant Williams has improved drastically shooting a 3-point shot, but he should not be your best 3-point shooter. I think that's it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. So Aaron Nesmith, he's the cover guy here. He's been highly disappointing. He was somebody who shot like 50% from 3 in college, and he has not replicated that in any sort of way at all. You know, that's why it's tough. Like, teams are able to just load up against Brown and Tatum, and you're kicking out to Marcus Smart, who's not shooting the 3-point shot well. Al Horford's not shooting the 3-point shot as well, and you're relying on him to be a very knockdown shooter. You know, you're kicking out to guys like Romeo Langford, and it's just, there's no spacing on the team. There's no guys out there that the defense really respects, and it's tough to, you know, find shooters that can also, you know, elite 3-and-D guys. Those guys are very tough to come by. You know, you don't just find them on trees. But the Celtics, man, I mean, this is probably, in my opinion, the second biggest issue with this team is the spacing. The spacing. That's why it's so easy to, you know, dictate what Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown's going to do, because you can just load up on them, and then you're kicking out to guys that are not knockdown shooters. I didn't even know Nesmith was shooting this bad. He's shooting 23% from 3. That's a lot. That's a lottery pick that was drafted because he could shoot the ball. 23% is pitiful. And yeah, they're 23rd in the league in 3-point percentage. I'll round up, 34%. It's bad, very bad. And yeah, I mean, I could talk about the Celtics forever because there's just so much dysfunction with this team. And there's a lot of guys that's been, I've seen in trade rumors. I think it's almost inevitable that Dennis Schroeder's going to get traded, since he is just on a 1-year deal. I think trading him would help this team get under the luxury tax, which is a big thing. You're not going to be able to bring him back because he's played his value, you know, back up. He's played pretty good for this team this year. Maybe you could get something in return. I don't know. Not really too sure, man. I've seen Celtics fans want Jalen Brunson really bad, but then you'd have to pay him. I've seen Al Horford in trade talks, somebody who just brought this offseason, you know, to help shore up some of the big man woes. See him in trade talks. We just saw Marcus Smart get thrown around in trade talks. And then, of course, everybody wants one of the Jays to get traded. I mean, that's just inevitable. They want to split this duo up. At least, you know, NBA fandom wants this duo to split up. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. I've been very vocal all year long about how I feel about this team. And I know I didn't have high expectations in the first place, but it's worse than I think I could have imagined. I just wanted to see this team show progress, and I feel like they've even regressed from last year. Man, this is one of the worst Celtics teams I've watched. I've been watching basketball for about 13 years, since like 2009. And I've not missed that many Celtics games. Even when they had the one season when they were terrible, but we knew we were going to be terrible that season. This year is pretty bad, man. It's so much dysfunction, so many blown leads. I have so many questions about Ime Udoka as a head coach. I know it's just his first year, trying to be as lenient as possible, but man, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from, you know, him in the coaching aspect. It seems like he's not learning from his mistakes. I know the team personnel is not amazing, but that's why we brought you here. That's why we brought you here as a head coach, man. And he hasn't really shown that much growth to me, man. It's a lot of the problems that was going on early on in the season with closing games. It's even more magnified now. It's probably worse, in my opinion, man. There's no reason you should go 7 minutes without one field goal. You can't call timeout, draw up a play, man. It's bad. It's bad for the Celtics. Yeah, I'm interested to see what the trade deadline looks like, not just for this team, but for the league in general. I'm kind of split. Like, I definitely want to see a bunch of moves, but a lot of teams probably think that they should be buyers because you can make the play-in. But I said that last year too, and teams ended up still making a lot of moves. But man, the deadline's approaching, and the Celtics' woes are continuing. So we'll see what moves they make. Does this answer the question of how to fix the Celtics? I don't know.
Off season. Let's work. Hey, plotting my escape this game.